Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Lego Space. So today we're going to do the official start on the Porsche 911 GTR or GT3 RS Technic project and kind of show you guys what I've been up to here. So I don't have my computer on right now, so I can't really show you the instructions, but I am working off of modded instructions as I showed in the last video from JB70 off of Rebrick. A lot of cool stuff. So today we're just going to kind of show, before I get too far into it, kind of show you some of the differences between the mod versus what Lego has you doing. This is the actual Lego manual for the Porsche. And we'll just go over a few differences here. As you can see, I straight off the bat, I am doing some color change to kind of get things a little bit more clean looking as far as the end result goes. I did just kind of slap a gear on the end of this to just turn the shifting mechanism to show you guys the differences in that. First of all, just kind of show you a quick shot of kind of what Lego has you doing. You guys can see the kind of shifting mechanism there. They're using a stiff Technic pin on that little gear to kind of stiffen that whole system up, so that's kind of their remedy for that. Not too much has changed with the actual gear selection area, but there are some big differences alongside of that, and kind of how some of that is supported, along with how the gear selector actually switches through the gears. And first thing I guess we'll talk about is the actual gear selection. And if you guys do hear any noise, I got a cat fight going on underneath me, so that's what that is. So yeah, like I said, here they have it to where they're using a stiff Technic pin to kind of hold these the gear selection in place as you're going through the gears. On the JB70 version, they're actually utilizing a pinch method with 2 rubber bands and a couple of these little 1x2 Technic pieces. And there's one on each side of a number 2 piece, and they kind of clamp on to that flat surface where you could put an axle or a Technic pin. And as you turn it, you guys can see that those kind of pinch into that area and lock it into place. That feels a lot nicer and locks the gears into place a lot nicer than the old way. And then you guys can also see there's a dead stop with another 1x2 Technic piece. You guys can see it hits that back and forth. And also with this model, with this version, you guys can see there's like a steering rack that's actually engaged as you switch through the gears. And I believe this is going to become part of the gear selection. They kind of have it to where you have a little gauge on your dash once this is all said and done, so you can actually see on the dash what gear you're in. They utilize one of these pieces, and via means through this shaft right here that's connected to that rack part there, this will change positions kind of like that as you go through the gears, so you'll actually be able to see what gear you're in. So I thought that was pretty cool, and you guys can kind of see the front end of that as I switch through the gears. So as we get more finished on the project there, you guys will see how that kind of works. But yeah, it feels really good. There is one thing that the instructions, like I said, the instructions aren't the greatest. They don't highlight parts as you're putting it together like Lego does. Like for instance, on my wife's Lego set here, you guys can see how they kind of outline pieces. They kind of show processes a little bit clearly along with your parts list. The instructions for this one is not too far off from a normal Technic manual, but they don't highlight pieces. Like here you guys can see these Technic pins are highlighted in white outline for what you're doing. They don't do that on the instructions for this. It's basically gives you a parts list and then it shows it put together, and then you kind of have to figure out where the parts go. So it has been a little bit of a challenge. Couple things I messed up on already. I was able to fix right away because I noticed it pretty quick. But that is something to really keep an eye on as you're building this, if you do it from the instructions from JB70. Really got to pay attention. Not terrible though. It's pretty good instructions. You just really have to watch it. But one of the things is gear timing. Between this gear and the rack gear, there's a point where these two pieces are coming together, and you guys can see they get really close to each other right there. Maybe show a little bit better on this end. You guys can kind of see those parts come towards each other and get pretty close. The first time I put that together, I was like a tooth off, and those two pieces were crashing into each other and making that not turn quite as nice. So I had to kind of go back and get my timing on those gears right. But pretty cool though. I really like it. That's really unique. Haven't seen anything like that before, and that'll be really cool. Another thing is, as far as differences go, is how they have these linkages hooked up. The linkages coming off of the actual part that's turning for the gear selection, that's the same, but the parts that slide your pieces back and forth there for selecting what gear you're in, those are actually on risers now. Let me go back a page here. So yeah, here you guys can see it's just that piece straight into the little selector piece there. On here they actually have it on a 2x1 riser, so it rose up a little bit. I think that's for a little bit better alignment with these pieces. They seem to align pretty well. Like when it's in a neutral position, excuse me, when it's in a neutral position, if it's locked in, that's in neutral real good. That's back in neutral, little offset, not bad, but that's locked in really good. So I mean, the gears are really good, and like I said, it is nice having that dead stop, so you can't just keep cycling through the gears. I think that was an issue with how Lego originally had it. If I remember correctly, you could just keep cycling through the gears, and you kind of get lost in what gear you were in, because there was no dead stop on this system. It could just keep turning and turning and turning, so you kind of get lost after you hit the paddle shifters a few times and forget what gear you're in. So with the dead stop system on this, that will give you a defined, all right, you're in that gear, that gear, that gear, that gear, can't go any further. So that's pretty cool. As far as the gear setup back here, nothing's too drastically different. They did replace some of these red gears with some of the gray ones. Other than that, I think the gearing is the same as far as back in this area goes. There's nothing really new or different. Up in the front here, or kind of in the middle, this is drastically different. Like I said, we don't have that kind of that retarder gear with the stiff pin anymore. We don't have this clutch gear anymore. That's basically just filled in kind of in a different spot. There's these supports here for something, not too sure what those are for yet, but that's kind of new to the build. This little support here is kind of new to the build. That's going to help support this shaft that comes out of the top of your gear selection there. In Lego, you see they don't have any of that. Even in like putting in the shaft, there's no real support for that. So that's a little upgrade right there, is just kind of supporting that shaft as it comes out. It's pretty cool. So far it's been really fun. Definitely a challenge. Not too bad though. Also, as far as kind of supporting this gear area, it's a lot better on this one. You actually have two red axles that slide into this, and it's pinned in a lot better. All these gears rotate a lot smoother now because of that. So yeah, it's pretty cool so far. That's really about it for this video. Just kind of showing you guys a little Lego versus mod, and like I said, I'm doing color change as well. In the mod, the colors all pretty much stay the same as they are in the book, but I want to do some, like I said, I want to do some color changes, make it a little bit cleaner and a little bit nicer looking. So that's just kind of some of the stuff we're working on here. So yep, that wraps it up for this video, guys. If you like it, let me know. And if you need any more information, like on the mod itself, like I said, go back to my first video, or my last video, right at kind of at the end of that video. I talk about getting into this project, so, and kind of show some of that stuff on the Rebrick site. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and until next time, take care.